The only thing that's rocket science is rocket science. And that's only half of it, okay? I'll give you the other half of the hook at the tail end. But keep that in mind. The only thing that's rocket science is rocket science. As he said, I'm a builder at heart, and I'm very unconventional. There's nothing in my resume that says engineer or mechanical guru, none of that. It's simply not who I am. I have a history degree from Virginia Military Institute because at the end of my first year, it became apparent that that was going to be the easiest way out of a place I otherwise didn't want to be. I did have the good fortune after doing 3 years of cajoling and influencing and telling my story with my abominably low GPA from VMI to get into Notre Dame. That in fact, I was smart enough to go there. And I essentially was the Rudy of their MBA program. It was a very expensive bucket list item. Having grown up Irish Catholic in Pennsylvania and cheered for the Irish, I just wanted to be at Notre Dame. Just wanted to be at VMI. It's the only 2 schools I ever applied to. And I think it's a deep sense of understanding of who you are as an individual, which then creates and controls momentum for what it is you're trying to achieve in life. I think all too many of us are getting wrapped up in situations in our day-to-day lives because of imposter syndromes, because of societal norms, for fear of stepping outside. And what I mean by that is when you know truly who you are and what you're trying to achieve, everything else becomes just noise and you can focus on what it is you're trying to achieve. For me, I am a builder, through and through. Before being a husband, before being a father, I am a builder. That is who my God made Conor Evans. And in any given point in time, throughout my day, I am either building up or I am tearing down to build something new. In every conversation of every interaction that I have, that is what I am doing, and I'm very clear on that. I'm a builder. I also am in business, but I don't wear a suit to this. I wear what I wear when I am building. I wear work boots, and I wear vests, and I wear LL Bean khakis. Because I am a builder in everything that I do. And it's with that clarity of purpose that I'm able to say I'm a builder of structures, I'm a builder of teams, I'm a builder of organizations, I'm a builder of my family, and I'm a builder of this community. I literally, on my way here, as I was, my office is right across from the Swiss Chalet, and I got into the car. I was at the office late last night, wrapping up a hectic project. Left at 10 o'clock, got to the office this morning at 6 o'clock, banged out a few notes of what I was going to talk about. And this morning, or just a few minutes ago, when I was leaving the office, driving over here, I called my wife up and I said, Ellen, I got it canceled. She said, well, sorry, bud, you can't. And she talked me into coming. And it's because what I have to share, it felt like self-promotion. Because I'm telling a story, I will share a story about how clarity of purpose, how nothing is rocket science but rocket science, has led to a degree of noteworthiness or success in my life. She said, no, people want to hear the story. It's how we learn and share. So here I am. So I went to business school, like I said, at Notre Dame for a bucket list item, really. And when I was there, I was so incredibly honored and humbled to be there amongst all these what I thought were brilliant people, and they are, that I had this imposter syndrome that I was looking around like, oh my gosh, they're going to find out, and that acceptance letter, like, I think they can probably rescind those. Thank God they didn't. And But for those 2 years that I was there, freed of the day-to-day constraints of work and dropping your dry cleaning off and the grocery, all of it, I had to study, and instead of using my spare time playing Nintendo and drinking beer with my buddies and reliving some undergraduate experience that I never really had in the first place, being at VMI, I wanted to live up to their mission. Business as a force for good in the world. And what could I do as a builder to do that? And that was my mission for those 2 years. And how it started was, well, I don't know. I guess that I am going to go out and find in this big, vast world an NGO, non-government organization, international nonprofit, that has a need for a micro-infrastructure project that would assist their mission that they otherwise don't have the capital or expertise to build. Pretty broad mission statement. I just started calling people. Through using Notre Dame's network in the nonprofit world, calling, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want to do. Fast forward. Simultaneous to that, knowing that I was going to have to fundraise for this, I had to educate myself on a very basic level on what made a good NGO partner and what made a bad one, such that I could then approach donors, potential donors, and ask them for their hard-earned money, that I had done the proper research, that it would not just be throwing it away, that who we were proposing to partner with would have a long-term economic impact in the communities that they were trying to serve. Came across a nonprofit NGO named St. Mary's Lacho in war-torn Gulu, Uganda. Was introduced to Mama Anna, the principal, through Zoom or Teams or Skype, whatever it was at that time. And she said she needed a new library, physical structure, okay? Because the classroom that they were using was packed full of books and too many kids and not enough space, what have you. I said, sure, I can build a library in war-torn northern Uganda, where there's massive supply chain issues and people pointing guns at you when you cross certain bridges that you're not supposed to cross, or take pictures of things you're not supposed to take care of, or take. I said, sure, no problem. I sit down with the dean of Notre Dame's business school and I say, Conor, books and libraries are good, but what more than that can it be to serve the need plaguing the growth of that economy? Again, another one-line mission statement, pretty ambiguous. I said, I don't know, good question. Being a builder, I can figure that out. I can rally the resources and ask that question, of which we did between economists and professors and government officials in Uganda, government officials in DC. We explored that. And what we came to was an entrepreneurship center, a business skill training center in war-torn northern Uganda that would serve that community. We did so in under a year, and we were able to get Accenture to give us a solar grant, which now produces a fish farm that they then sell the fish on the open market to then fund the school, making it self-sustaining in part. And then we also made it a government-recognized NGO, both by the Ugandan government as well as by the American government. The foundational principle, I'll read it to you. It's called the 31 Lengths Campaign, after Secretariat's famous 1973 Belmont Stakes win by 31 horse lengths. 31 lengths is a metaphor of an instance in sports history when the central characters and trainers were empowered, believed in their potential, and achieved astonishing results. The metaphor is a belief that each of us is unique and, when that certain trait is empowered, has boundless potential. We believe these three elements must be in place for entrepreneurship to exist. Our foundational principle is to empower students to believe in and achieve their own boundless potential by encouraging them to try, to not fear, realizing that success is a fruit of failure. So you can imagine my astonishment to where throughout the course of construction and the back and forth to Gulu from South Bend, Indiana, having built relationships with Mama Anna, an otherwise larger diabetic elderly woman who was the principal of the school, and I say that for a reason, and a gentleman called Sam. Well, Sam was the Lion of LeChoe. And Sam was a commanding figure, and he was all over it. He wanted our help, and he wanted to be a part of the solution throughout the course of construction. And so you can imagine my surprise when I caught word from our program manager, once the space was operating, Marissa, that Sam, in his class, before the class would start, before anyone had an opportunity, any of the junior high and elementary school kids, and he would take a cane and he would walk around and bop each one of them on the head, just to put them in line before they even had a chance to get out of the way. I was furious. Absolutely furious. Every ounce of me wanted to board a plane and go up to Gulu and hash it out myself. And we all know that wouldn't have done any good. Because Sam was just born into a system that he's promulgating. And I thought, well, maybe I then pull funding. Or maybe I said, if you don't do this, then we'll do this. Then I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't really want to be the guy that goes into another culture and tells anyone how to act. Because I sure as hell don't want anyone coming into my culture and telling me how to act. But I can't continue giving money to support a mission where there's behavior clearly against the mission. These kids, by encouraging them to try, to not fear, realizing that success is a fruit of failure. Well, it's kind of tough not to fear when at the outside of a class you're getting whacked on the head. So I'm thinking to myself, how do I solve this? And I fly over there and I sit down with Sam and I sit down with Mama Anna. And I say, I don't mean to impose anything on you and your culture and what you're doing. It's you. That's fine. What I can say is it would be disingenuous for me to continue to take money from our donors and funneling it into a system that is quite obviously breeding fear. And that kind of got him thinking. It put the choice back on him. It broke it down to the fundamentals of what we were doing. It took my emotion out of it, of I need this to succeed, because I've got people back in the U.S. where I've told them what I'm doing. And I want it to succeed for my own personal reasons. It wasn't that. It was, this may very well fail. But we will live true to that foundational principle. It got him thinking. Still wasn't sure. And I then turned to him. I said, do you listen to Mama Anna? Larger, elderly, diabetic woman. He goes, oh yeah, of course. Oh, that's interesting. Does she need to walk around and bop you on the head every time to get you to do what you need done? And I say that as an example of if we detach from the fear of our day-to-day reality and success and being able to figure it out and have a very clear purpose of what it is, who it is we are, and what it is we're trying to achieve in life, and let every conversation be guided accordingly, we have a shot at winning. For me, I am a builder. And I live by a few rules, and this is what I tell my team. This is the takeaway. This is it. Make it real simple. Because I'm not an engineer and I'm none of those fancy things. I have a history degree working in an industry where it's very high risk and there's a lot of smart people. You got to show up. You got to work hard. You got to be nice. You got to be firm. You got to be fair, and you got to be consistent. That's it. And I think if we do those things, inherently we become a better society. And that's ultimately what I'm here to build, and what I suspect you probably are as well. That's all I got. Thank you.